So I was reading one time this it was a Marcus Aurelius's like journal, and I didn't read the whole thing, but I was reading parts of it. And in one part he said how Romans couldn't stand Christians because they refused to acknowledge any other god as a god. You know what I mean? And it's funny because any real born again, spirit filled Christian understands that the Christians in the early church were off the chain, bro. These people were getting fed to lions. I mean, and they were dying so gladly that people were converting to Christianity because they're like, why are they so excited to die? And so, you know, I mean, I'm always hearing people like, well, why will Christians, you know, they don't want to acknowledge our gods, or they won't, you know, they just want to, and there's reasons to that, you know what I mean? And so I'm gonna get into, I'm gonna put it like this. Bear with me. There was a point in my life that I was in a bathroom drawing water out of a public restroom toilet to shoot up my heroin because I forgot a water bottle. There was times in my life that I had smoked so much PCP that I was laying in a bed watching angels circle around my face like a ceiling fan, and I'd show up the next day to work and couldn't even talk in English to my boss. I was in deep depression. I used to cut myself. There was one time I cut myself and blood started squirting everywhere so crazy. I freaked out, went and got my mom's sewing needle and kit and sewed my wrist back shut. And you know what I mean? Like, I say all this to say, like, I've talked to people and they're like, you know, it's like when you tell them like, oh, I did this or that, they think like, oh, you know, you just smoked a little weed. Like, bro, I'm not talking like my mom found a weed bag in my laundry room and I had a bad day. I'm talking I lived in a perpetual and continual state of hell where I was continuously and always weighed down with depression, anxiety. I wanted to kill myself every day. I would sit there and fantasize about how to do it, where to do it, when to do it. I'm talking about I was so bad in addiction that my life was destroyed. You know what I mean? And so there was a point in my life where I started calling out to Jesus, and it was the last thing I believed. Like, this is why I tried Buddha. I was a Buddhist. You know what it did for me? It opened me up to the spiritual realm, and then I started having sleep paralysis. That's what it did to me. I did Reiki. I did energy work. I meditated. I did every single thing besides like Muslim, like Islam. That was about the only thing I didn't try, I think. You know what I mean? And it didn't do nothing for me. I didn't believe in Jesus at all. And so I hit a point where I started being like, you know what, I'm gonna call out to this God. Started going to a church. You know what I mean? And nothing was happening. I was crying, but I don't know why I wouldn't stop crying out to him. I'd like someone told me to read the Bible when you feel frustrated or something, and I'd be frustrated and I'd open the Bible and read like 3 lines and be like, it ain't working. And I'd throw the Bible and be like, this isn't working. I was like, I don't know. But I would keep doing it. For a year. This happened for a whole year. I'd be on my way to a drug dealer's house like, God, please help me. God, please help me. God, please help me. Jesus, Jesus. I'd be calling on him. And this happened for a whole year. And the only thing I noticed was this. My life got worse. My life got worse. And I started feeling a little more bad about things I didn't used to feel bad about. That was the only thing. I was still in bondage. I was still an addict. I was still suicidal. Next thing I know, I was homeless. You know what I mean? Working in a TGI Fridays, and all the money I made that night, as soon as I walked out the back door, I'm handing it to a crack dealer to go shoot up crack all night in a tent. You know what I mean? Like, and so I got to a point where I was in a hotel room one night shooting up heroin and thinking this is the last time I'm gonna go get clean. And you know what I'm saying? I called out, I started talking to God, and I said, and I was like broke. I was done. My life was in shambles. I was broken. I said, God, I don't know what you expect from me. I said, I really don't know what you expect me to do. I said, this is all I know. Sitting there looking at it, I'm like, this is all I know. You know what I mean? This is it. Like, this is all I know. What do you expect from me? How much better do you expect me to do? I don't know any better. You know what I mean? And I knew I was an overdose. I didn't care. I wasn't trying to die. I just knew I was doing too much and I didn't care. And so I started loading up the spoon and I started saying, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come." I started saying the whole prayer, tying my arm out, shoot the dope. Next thing I know, I'm in an ambulance, waking up from an overdose with a new charge, going to jail. And so I started praying, reading the Bible. And first there was a 5 days where I was in a holding cell, crying out, going through withdrawals, praying to God over and over, crying out. And so I started reading the Bible. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I want people to know, like, dude, like, there's times like you call on Jesus once and he comes. There's times where he has to crush you until your heart's ready to receive him. And that was my situation. Like, I was calling on him, but he knew if I come to him right now, he's gonna mess all this stuff up. So he let me get crushed, dude. Like, my life got way worse after I started calling on Jesus. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And so a lot of people get mad and they're like, I called on Jesus and everything got worse. But that's actually a sign that something's moving, something's happening. So anyways, I started reading the Bible, started praying. And I was about to quit. Like 2 weeks later, 2 weeks in or something, I was like, I'm in jail, yeah, but I was like, this is whack, this isn't working. Something told me, why don't you just try? You know, like, why don't you just really give everything you have and really just try to believe this? Try to, like, just look at it. Like, really open yourself up to it, right? And so I started reading. I don't know. Next thing I know, all I can really tell you is that one day I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize myself. Next thing I knew, I was saying things I would never say. Next thing I know, I'm on the phone with the girl I was dating at the time, and out of nowhere, just out of my belly, I say, when I get out of here, I'm not having sex with you, and if you make me choose between you or God, you're gonna lose. And then being like, what did I just say? Like, that was like, and so all I know is that every time I would turn and go Jesus or something and turn my heart to Jesus, pray, I'd feel something come on me. I was feeling something grip my heart. My heart was getting soft. I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, except all I know is every time I called on the name of Jesus and every time I turned to him, it kept increasing. He kept becoming more real. More and more things just kept happening. Until the point where all I wanted to do was read my Bible and pray. That was all I wanted to do. Like, everything else sucked. I'd be at conversations with people and, like, I'd be like, this is whack, and I'd leave. And you know what I mean? And so when I left there, I was like a little kid. You know what I mean? Like, I was at a halfway house. I'd ride my bike, and I couldn't wait to get off work. I'd be pedaling as fast as I could. I'd run inside and run to my parents like, Daddy, I'm back, I'm home. And I'd be in my little prayer and rolling around the floor. You know what I mean? So tell me this. What do you, because there's probably people that y'all think I lost my mind. Maybe it's just some mental Jedi mind trick type thing, or just power belief. Here's the thing. I'm not gonna get into too much detail. I have seen way too many demonic things, man. Like, there's too much demonic stuff that I've seen in my life. I've had overdoses where I've been at the gates of hell with demons around me. I've had so much sleep paralysis. There was one time I literally had a demon pull me, my physical body. It wasn't just in my head or a dream. My physical body got pulled off the bed. What name do you think I called on? Jesus. What name do you think came? Jesus. What name do you think made that little thing, whatever it was, go away? Jesus. And so for the people, after like a year and a half of this, hearing so many stories of why God might not be real, why it might be this, you know what? I'm an artist. You know what happened? I didn't just say, oh, Google told me, this person told me, so I'm gonna go with it. I said, all right, I'll be my own crash dummy. I'm gonna be my own test dummy. I'm gonna go really see. So I turned my back on God. I said all this was just in my head. I shut my Bible. I stopped praying. And you know what happened? It felt like a jacket of love and peace and comfort was lifted off of me. It felt like I got dragged down into an abyss. It felt like my soul shriveled up and died. And when I looked in the mirror, I saw a dead person. Everything in me went to crap, dude. Quick. And then it wasn't on some real like, oh, I'm sorry, God. God let me feel it. He let me sit there. He let me feel it. He let me know it was real. And then when he came back, you know what happened? When I started calling, repenting, when he finally granted me my repentance, because God has to grant us repentance. It's not just like, oh, sorry. It's a heart position that only he has clearance to actually make happen. He came in my room, and I had probably one of the most radical encounters I've ever had in my life. And so what I'm saying is, when God delivers you, if God delivered you from a anxiety, addiction, a bad marriage, he saved you from, being greedy and you were rich and all you care about was money. I don't care, whatever. If you really got pulled out of something, and to be honest with you, my favorite testimonies are testimonies where God kept someone. Because I think, like, what? You went through high school and didn't party, you didn't sleep with them, like, you just were living for God. To me, that is mind-blowing, and that glorifies God crazy. You know what I mean? Those are my favorite testimonies, to be honest. Like, so whatever it was, if you know that you had an encounter with God and he changed you and he saved you, why would I want any other God, and why would I acknowledge any other God? No one has shown me a God that has trumped Jesus. You know what I mean? And I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but, like, for real, it's getting to the point where it's like, this is Elijah and Jezebel season, where my God versus your God. You say you have a God that's true to, put him up against Jesus. That's how I feel at this point. You know what I mean? Because it's like, bro, nothing is coming close to Jesus. I don't care how much you meditate, how much you think you're God. I don't care how much incense you burn, sage you burn, crystals you rub, where, it doesn't matter. I've never seen one person have that produce a fruit or a power that trumps a true filled Holy Ghost walking Christian, bro. It just doesn't happen. I'm not even saying I'm that Christian. I'm saying, but I'm aware of them, and there ain't no witch doctor coming up against them that can curse them and their power over. I'm trying to say, that's why Christians don't acknowledge other gods. This is why real Christians don't play with, oh, we're gonna play with the tarot cards today. For what? For what? There's absolutely no reason. You know what I mean? Like, I was living in a perpetual state of hell. And I tasted life for the first time. I realized my whole life I've been drinking creek water. Creek water my whole life. I finally had some real nice well water. And I want to spit the creek water back on the ground where it belongs. That's what I feel. Like, we're out here drinking creek water. And now some of you are listening, well, I wasn't a drug addict. Oh, I'm not having these things. But then I hear people talk about anxiety and depression. So it's so normalized, in fact, that we say, my depression, my anxiety. I was going to go to the store today, but my anxiety decided to show up. My depression, let me tell you something. Your depression, your anxiety, it doesn't own you. You don't belong to it. And it doesn't belong to you. It's not a pet. This stuff is killing people. And we think it's normal because we have 500 people around saying, yeah, I take this for my anxiety. I smoke weed for my anxiety. And now, cool. Anxiety is part of the program. It's not part of heaven. It's not part of God's program. And so, you know what I mean? Dude, I've messed up so many times, it's ridiculous. God's had so much grace on me, it's ridiculous. My testimony is I had been a stupid person. God saved me, and then I was even more stupider, and he came and saved me again. I'm at the point where I don't even care. I'm about to kick in doors of establishments, and I'm about to bring the kingdom in. I'm just sold out, man. And every time I fall, God lifts me up more. My heart has never been, let me mess this thing up. My heart's always been, God, I want you. God, I need you. And I made mistakes. But I make this video for a reason. If you're dealing, and so back to what I was saying, all right, Josh, I'm not dealing with a drug addiction. I'm not, like, my life's good. I'm pretty normal. Well, if you really have a fulfilled, 100% fulfilled life, I would love to talk to you. And the reason being because spiritual people I come in contact with, and they're all spiritual, and they're this and that, bro, they so quickly expose bad fruit. When I talk to them, they're quickly bashing Christians. Let me say this. I know Christians are judgmental. I know that there's hypocritical Christians out there. But let me tell you something. If a real Christian, if you're against Christianity and you attack a real Christian, they are gonna go home and they're gonna cry for you and they're gonna pray for you. I promise you. They're gonna cry and they're gonna pray for you and they're gonna say, God, have mercy on this person. Just bless their life. Just show. That's what they're gonna do. But then when I've seen so many like witches and these high spiritual new age people that are so smart and you're so wise and a Christian says something to you and you all snap and dog their name. And I'm not attacking other things. I'm just saying, like, other religions be doing the exact same stuff that they accuse Christians of doing. And so this is why Christians only acknowledge Jesus. This is why I don't believe in, oh, I have Jesus and I do tarot cards on the weekend to help me further. Bro, I did all that. You know what happened? I ended up hanging myself off a cliff because I opened myself up. I did a Ouija board. You know what happened? I ended up hanging myself off a cliff not long after. Thing is, some of y'all really do want God. Some of y'all really do feel like you're trying. That's why I made the video for y'all. Because keep calling on him. Stop turning this other crap, man. It hasn't done nothing for you yet. It might give you like, oh, I have a little perspective. I'm telling you, I know how it is. It gives you just enough to make you feel like, oh, I'm growing. But now 5 years later, you look around and you realize, yo, I'm still depressed. I'm still dealing with this crap. At least for me and anybody I know that was really in it and came to Christ. I'm trying to tell you, when I came to Jesus, it was like I was dead my whole life and didn't know it. And then I said, what? This is life? Something's in my belly. Something's stirring. I feel like when I get up, I walk with something else. Like, and I know what it feels like to lose that and be back in the world. And I'm sitting there like, oh man, this is what I was in. This is what was happening. Feeling demons around. Oh man. But now I see, oh man. I'm serious, man. I'm serious. I'm real serious. And so because of the depths of hell that I was in and went back to, even not to that extent, of course, but in ways I compromised and you know, throughout my walk had little moments where I compromised and ended up back in that place. Nope, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Bring me a better God than Jesus. It's not out there. It don't exist. Bring me another God that died for my sins. Bring me another God that's still alive and breathing. Bring me another God that when I turn my heart to him and say, Jesus, I love you, my heart fills up and I just want to burst and fold up in a little ball. Find me another God that does that, because I've heard people say, oh, it's I've heard every answer in the book doing street evangelism. It's gratitude, it's this. I'm not going for it. I'm not going for it. And so this is why Christians only acknowledge Jesus. This is why Christians are the way we are. We tasted something. We see something. You know what I mean? And so a lot of y'all believe in God, but you won't call on him because you're not ready for your girlfriend to stop using his name in vain. Let you sit with that one. Some of y'all want God, but you want 10% to hold on to your nights out at the bar. I'm telling you, this is the most popular thing. I want just enough God to go to heaven and feel like I'm okay and my life's blessed, and just enough world to where I don't cross the line. It's the most popular thing I've seen. And guess what? I got sick of feeling like I was all in. I tried doing that. You know what happened? I ended up sliding back way farther than I anticipated, way farther than I meant to happen. And I'm not talking like, oh, I went back and started shooting dope. I'm talking, next thing I know, I'm irritable again. Next thing I know, I'm complaining again. When that stuff's it's not in my life when I'm walking in God's will. It's not in my life. I'm not saying I'd never have a moment of a little like sadness, or you know what I mean. I still have emotions come, but they don't dictate my life. They're not in my life regularly. They're not something that I sit there and am bound by. And I'm saying all this to glorify God, because I know that I'm dust, man. I know that I'm dust, and it's only Jesus' spirit in me that gave me life, bro. I should be dead. I was dead. So I think that's about it right now. I'm actually at National Harbor right now with the Supernatural Life. I'm about to go do some evangelism stuff, and God told me to share this, so God bless.